Okay, are we live? Yes, we are. Perfect. Perfect. Yo, I was going to come on earlier and stuff, but Soul Provider was streaming, and quite frankly, I had to watch that, man. I saw Gabe A get flamed the fuck up, my nigga. Woo! Jeez. Like Sister George came on the panel and just did damage, man. That thing was crazy. But anyway, how y'all doing? I see I got one viewer in here. That might be me. Viewing myself. But oh well. I'm live now. I was actually really look at this. Oh, it's Aizen. What's up, Aizen? Yo, Aizen, I'm gonna bring you up. I'm gonna bring you up, man. You know what I'm saying? I said I was gonna do a little stream about this topic, you know. So the topic is, and it's just something I wanted to get out my chest, not get off my chest. It's not like it's a problem or anything, you know. It was something that I had seen while scrolling through social media. And it was actually this post about how I think psychologists have determined that anime, like kids or the generation that grew up on the anime, is slightly more resilient than those that grew up on the whole Disney thing. And I thought that was interesting because, you know, you could say I grew up on anime, but that's the thing. It's like I wasn't on some, oh yeah, anime all the time. It's just that was the cartoon that was on Mondays to Fridays. So like every day I'll come home from school. I think I've told y'all about this before. So I would pretty much come home from school, do my homework and shit, and then the only cartoons that was on would be anime style cartoons. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you could technically say I grew up on it too, but I was just watching it like regular cartoons because it wasn't Saturday yet. You know, that's really what it was. Give me a sec. I'm trying to look for this damn article, man. Well, it's not an article, but this post. You know, I think it's this one right here. Yeah, it said that child psychologists are shocked the Naruto generation turned out to be the most stress resilient, you know? So, I mean, I don't think there's any like official study on that stuff, but I was just reading a few things regarding that, and even I would have to say that even with my said best cartoon through the week Disney had was Gargoyles. It's the best they ever had, really. Yeah, Gargoyles was the shit, Isaac. That's true. Gargoyles was the shit. hmm Yeah, I fucked with Gargoyles heavy. I fucked with Gargoyles heavy, bro. But yeah, So I mean, I took a couple notes and all that stuff, with this whole anime versus. First of all, can y'all hear me clear enough, or do I have to get closer to the microphone? Eisen, do you hear me clearly? Actually, you know what? I might just give me a sec. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. But yeah, what was I saying? Give me a sec. I was taking some notes regarding this whole anime versus Disney thing because you know me being a new otaku and shit. Nah, man. I guess I watch it more now than before. Of course, in the last few years, I would say, like in the last 5 6 years, 7 years. Damn, more like 8 years. 2018, really. 2018, I started watching more anime because I saw that Netflix had some. You know what I'm saying? I still have my Netflix subscription then, you know, it's close to running out. And yeah, it was like my whole divorce period and shit like that. And yeah, I think I told you I started off with Baki and shit. Then I started watching Naruto, the original one, you know. And again, Naruto I had already known, but that was like back in 2005. I was like 19 by then and shit. I was getting ready to go to college and shit. You know what I'm saying? So wasn't that into it. Wait, 2005? Yeah, 2005. Yeah, I graduated high school, so I wasn't, it was like past my cartoon phase. I think I told you already. So yeah. And I taken some notes and with the when you really compare the two, right? Like for those that grew up on Disney and shit, you could tell that everything was pretty much fairy tale based, right? I mean, if we want to be honest, you know. Hey, cynical, what's going on? Cynical, what's good, yo? What's good? Now, like I was saying, Disney shit, or even when you think about the Western cartoons and all that stuff, it was very straightforward. You had the bad guy, you had the good guy. What's up, Go Professor? Had the bad guy, you had the good guy. It was very straightforward. The good guy has to defeat the bad guy, and very straightforward and stuff. But of course, with anime, it's more. And keep in mind, this child psychology shit, they would talk about Naruto there. But it's not just Naruto, it's pretty much any type of shonen anime, right? Shonen, I think, meaning what? Little boy or teenager, right? So it's more like geared towards young teenage men. Now the thing is, the kind the kind of media that the young teenage men would be exposed to, even at their level with the animated shows and stuff, you could say it's pretty intense compared to the Disney stuff. Why do I say that? Because you it's more about, it's the whole, oh yeah, I'm gonna meet I gotta save the princess from the castle. And I gotta defeat this evil guy who's got her under captivity, you know? And I'm gonna use my innate magic powers that I didn't know about. Some fairy godmother came through. Wait, hold on. So I see you on and hit the like button before I close. I gotta get up early tomorrow. Oh, no problem. Hey, appreciate you for hitting the like button, my G. Thanks so much, Go Professor. I appreciate the kind gesture. I definitely do. Thanks so much. But yeah, As I was saying, like with the anime, you have the whole, bad guy got the princess or whoever, the love interest under some kind of captivity, and I have some innate power, or I have some dwarf helping me out, or some fairy godmother, or some Tinkerbell looking chick that will bestow some magic dust, throw some magic dust my way, and all of a sudden I'm strong as shit. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff, man. So, you know, with anime though, it's more like I'm trying to be this. I wanna be the very best. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. It's more like I have a goal to be this person in life. I want to be somebody in life. Because all these anime tropes, especially the shonen one, they always start with these with that trope, that whole, yeah, I'm I am a nobody, nobody likes me, and I have to fight to be somebody, right? And yeah, so everything, so the whole story with anime is always, it's like a big training arc, you're not only training to become strong, you know you also learn things, experiences, you go through ups and downs, the whole emotional roller coaster, that people that watch anime are familiar with. So yeah, anyway, hold on, man. Let me because I know I had mentioned this to Aizen already, and he had said that something along the lines of what most people remember from anime is the fights, which is true, which I agree. I remember the fights. Yo, why the hell is hold on a second. If I put the link in the chat, well, what the fuck? It's saying YouTube rejected your comment. This is fairly common when sharing a link. What? Are you fucking kidding? Hold on a second. Eisen, hold on. I'm gonna bring you up in a second, man. But yeah, Eisen was saying that you know, they only remember the fights and all that stuff. And I mean, I beg to differ, you know. I don't think it's only the fights that are remembered, but that's what all these studios put a lot of money into in animating, So of course the fights are going to be spectacular, and have all these special effects and stuff, like when you look at Demon Slayer and all that. So I mean, of course, and plus it makes for good clip content on YouTube as well. So ain't no problem with that. But I'm trying to figure out why the hell I can't post a damn link in my own motherfucking stream, nigga. Like, what the fuck is going on, my nigga? Do y'all see a link posted? I literally have to go to my phone and do it. Shit, crazy. Hold on. Let me try it again. I'm doing it from my phone, though. Because I'm on my computer and it ain't working. But yeah, y'all let me know if Wait, yeah, whatever. You see, I'm not seeing anything. Let me check my phone. Yeah, what the hell is going on? Copy link. Post the comment. You know what? I'm put it on my banner. Sorry for the brief intermission. Okay. Seems like it's working now. I think you should see it now. Alrighty. So, as I was saying, okay, it's there now. Perfect. Yeah. You know, in my personal opinion, I would say that anime definitely teaches people more about life and how shit really is. Because if you think about the whole Western media, with the comics and all of that stuff. Well, let me not say with the comics, because I think the comics do go into more depth with the superheroes that we grew up on. But if we just go based off of the the cartoons that we saw on TV, they didn't go that much into depth, you know. Oh, here's Isaac. Hold on a second. Add to the stage. Isaac, what's
What's
up?
up? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Cool, cool.
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So you already in the chat. You heard what I was talking about. So um, let me ask you. So were you like a more of a Disney kid, Western kid, or anime kid? I said Western kid, of course Western, but I mean like Western cartoon kid or
I,
anime kid growing up.
I looked at them both, depending on what it was. To be honest, the only Disney as far as cartoon I remember was like Gargoyles. I mean, I didn't care for Mickey Mouse. I mean, stuff was kind of different. Um, I did like DuckTales. I ain't gonna sit up here and lie. I
Yeah,
like DuckTales. It
Ducktales,
was
woo.
and Darkwing Duck. They were pretty fun. Tailspin.
Yes,
Ah,
sir.
God, I forgot. I can't forget about Tailspin. So, I liked it all.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll admit, of course, whenever I got to a certain age, I started leaning more towards the anime style. I mean, when you had Toonami come on, you did have like the American ones, such as like the new Adventures of Johnny Quest. They were kind of anime style when they came.
On
But I mean,
Cartoon Network.
I go all the way back as far as anime.
Mm-hmm.
I go all the way back to reruns of Speed Racer. Um, the
So you know that
Transformers didn't really, huh?
I never knew that Speed Racer was
Yeah,
actually Japanese.
yeah. I forgot. It's oh gosh, I forgot what it's called in Japanese, but I can't remember what it's called in Japanese off the top of my head. But yeah, um, that one, and I
Wow.
think maybe the old Gundam made it over here first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I remember Lupin after that, Lupin the third. Um, and then that like those quit for a while, and all you
Yeah.
had for a while was Ronin Warriors and Sailor Moon until Dragon Ball Z hit the scene.
Mm.
And then when Dragon Ball Z hit the scene, you had Toonami after that, and then they started showing all the old ones I just named on late at night. Um, and they added Big O and Trigun and Outlaw Star and all that later. Um,
So how old
but
were you at that point?
oh God, let's see. I may
Because you
have
say you go
been,
all the way back.
yeah,
So
no,
how
golly,
old
it's
would you
various
say you were?
stages. For like Speed Racer and all that, my God, I was probably like in second grade at that point. Yeah, Speed Racer and all that, I was probably in the second grade for that.
Second
Um,
grade?
yeah,
So you would have been what, seven, eight?
7 or 8, somewhere around there, maybe.
Okay. So
Um,
Okay,
Go ahead.
Speed Racer. Yeah, the Speed Racer thing. I grew up on Speed Racer, but not the original one. There was a newer Speed Racer. Those would that would come on with like the Saturday morning cartoons.
Gotcha.
If you remember, I grew up in Europe, so yeah. So I wasn't too familiar with the original Speed Racer, but then
I got
later on, I became familiar with it.
and
So,
and the
go
first
ahead.
time I hit Dragon Ball Z, it was a Saturday morning cartoon at first. Um,
Okay,
it came out on UPN at first. That I remember seeing it.
okay.
Before that, yeah, UPN, and then we was and then by the time I got to high school, to catch GT and later, before they dropped the tapes and everything over here, I had saw GT before it dropped over here. I saw it. I was catching it off the internet.
Wait,
So
hold
I
on.
was looking at it.
You
Yes.
skipped Z. You kind of skipped Z, didn't you?
Z.
Because GT came
I had
after
already
Z.
finished. Z had finished by the time I was in high school, I think. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. Ooh, who is Muno Kokyu? Muno Kokyu. Hold on. Muno Kokyu just said that the Sci-Fi Channel had a strong run. No, not that one. It says
MTV. Yeah, MTV.
upon DBZ Samurai Pizza Cat. Yo, I remember that. That came on Saturdays too. And Sailor Moon.
Oh,
Dog, Sailor.
UPN.
Yeah, he's.
Maybe this was, yeah,
I don't know
UPN.
if it
Yeah.
probably.
I don't remember Samurai Pizza Cats, but I do remember Sailor Moon.
Yeah, bro. I remember
And
Samurai Pizza Cats and Sailor. I dubbed like Sailor Moon like every day. Like I used to record that on VHS.
okay.
Like
Okay.
for real.
But yeah,
You
when
know.
DBZ hit Sailor Moon, I ain't gonna lie, it went to the background. Um, and after that, that's whenever the Toonami craze started getting, because just before that you started getting Yu Yu Hakusho,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe what was the other one? Rurouni Kenshin was another one of my
Rurouni
favorites.
Kenshin.
Um,
What
I
about
mean,
oh yeah, you said Yu Yu
go ahead, go
Hakusho.
ahead.
What about Hajime no Ippo?
I that's one I still got to look at. It's in my Kiwi
Oh,
for Crunchyroll, but this one I still got to look at. Um, I may start on it this weekend.
it's kind of funny because I think with the anime and stuff, because we didn't have Toonami in Europe like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We had other channels where they were showing anime, but they seem to have been anime that the studios made sure they release in Europe as well because they were like big in Germany, Switzerland, and Italy and
Mm.
Spain. Yeah. And the things that I didn't know that they were anime. I was just watching cartoons during the week. You know what I'm saying? And I found that Netflix. Oh yeah. By the way, the most recent update. I don't know if you know Aizen because I just mentioned that. Netflix. I think they got a partnership with Mappa now.
Mm.
The Mappa studio. So Netflix already been doing the anime thing. Like I said, I think 2018 is when I first started noticing that they had anime up there. So yeah, they really trying to dominate with that shit. Like big time.
They'll they'll get some.
I
I think
mean they
Crunchyroll got a foothold on them, but but like I said, it don't matter. It's all about whoever can drop the money for the hottest IP at the time.
yeah.
And that's what happens. I mean, that's how Crunchyroll lost. Um, that's how Crunchyroll lost Bleach, because whenever they dropped all that money for Chainsaw Man,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, it was just a bad time, because I don't care what anybody says. If Bleach and Chainsaw Man are dropping at the same time, it's easy to know which one to pick to make him bread and butter money on. I mean, Hulu and Disney call a steal as far as being able to distribute, as far as to show their content on their
Mhm.
platform, because that's the only thing they got.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know the Thousand Year Blood War arc was on
Hey,
Hulu.
lit,
You know,
lit.
but maybe it might be like a thing where Chainsaw Man is pretty popular. I mean, I haven't watched it and stuff, and I think what they coming out with season 2 or
It's
season 3.
pretty popular among the manga guys, but I think it's kind of falling off as far as anime wise. It's kind of hit. It's kind of
Oh,
falling off. I'm not gonna say it's not doing well at all. You know what I'm saying? But I
yeah.
think it's kind of hit that. It's kind of on a downtrend of a little bit. Um,
I
but I
see.
mean, too, um, a lot of these don't, and it's hard to say now because they are changing up the work culture over there in Japan. But a lot of there's a lot of series that don't make it outside of 1 or 2 seasons. So it's hard, it's difficult, man. To to make you to have content that people want to come back and see every year again. It's difficult to
Yeah,
keep that high.
yeah. Nah, it's true. It's true. It's true. Matter of fact, there's anime that I'm a fan of. Like, I'm sure you probably know, it's called Hell's Paradise and stuff. That's a Mappa Studio anime, and they
I've
just
got to
started.
check that out too. Yeah.
Yeah, they just started season 2, but season 1 came out in 2023. So if you think about it, they pretty much,
Yeah, they still okay. I could
you
catch up
know,
with it real quick then.
oh hell yeah, definitely. It's just 13 episodes for season 1.
Oh
So
yeah,
like you
so
said, 1 or 2. See, I hope that won't be one that's just going to be 1 or 2 seasons as
it
well.
seems to be pretty popular. Of course, not on the level of popularity of Demon Slayer and Solo Leveling, but those are epic. I mean, you're talking about two that are so popular that they will be equivalent to like the big three of this era. Like
Hmm.
One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto were during their era in time. So it's difficult to get on that type of level. Being honest. Um,
Mm.
yeah, right now I would say the most popular ones would be uh Kaiju number 8. Um I forgot that people I
Kaiju
forgot.
number 8 ain't out right now. They
Well, I
done
mean, as
it
far as
now.
just overall popularity, being able to
Okay,
have that mainstream.
yeah. Yeah,
Between
I'd say
that,
Kaiju
Solo
number 8.
Leveling, and Demon Slayer. But even
Yeah,
though, but I'll admit it shifts too during whenever they take breaks. So, because
yeah.
Solo Leveling was top there for a while, and then they're on their break, so something else takes it. So, but it happens like that.
Yeah, it's so leveling right now. I'm also starting to think that I don't know if people are fans of it because of the animation itself. You understand me? Because I still couldn't get over that power scaling of that nigga, yo. You know what I'm
It's
saying? Like the power up was just too quick. It's
what
still like in the back of my mind, like yo.
it's between. I mean, it's the several factors. There's simple factors, but it's several. The
Hmm.
artwork and style is good. Um,
Yes.
the second thing is the aura farming of Jin, who
Yeah.
um, and the fights. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
I mean,
you
that's
don't.
one way I would say, yeah, you can only remember the fights because what else you gonna remember?
Besides that, and the aura farming.
Yeah. And
I
if you
mean,
think about it,
but that's
Jin Woo
what.
became an aura farmer really once they even changed his whole face because
Well, his whole everything changed. Which I mean, if you look at it, it's like an RPG character leveling up. That you get certain perks
yeah.
and different. Once you get higher and get those perks and points unlocked. I mean, that's what it's like. I mean, it's hell. It's basically almost like I mean,
It's a video game.
it's almost like it's got elements to like certain isekai have, as far as somebody going into another world and changing their life and leveling up in a way, even though it's not an
Mm-hmm.
isekai,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's got that RPG element to it. So you actually see physical changes, and well, heck, you see personality changes slightly too.
Yeah. No, you're right. So, just to go on in what I have here. So, would you say that it's kind of widely accepted in society that media shapes how we handle real life and everything. So, you would say, I mean, I know a lot of people who say, yeah, anime is cartoons and all of that shit, right? But at the same time, it's like it's something, cartoons, animation, all that stuff is something that you were exposed to when you're younger,
Uh,
so that's already in your developing years. You think about that whole hero thing, and if we're talking about Disney, what the Disney princess and the prince, and you still have the story with obstacles in the Disney stuff and all that shit. But the whole happily ever after, I mean, if you think about it, I mean,
It's
it's a whole bunch of
I'll
niggas that
say
wanted
this
to happen.
this is
Go ahead.
different though. Um, it's I mean, if we want to be right, real about it, Japanimation was very niche during my time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's taking y'all telling me. Um, I mean, it takes more than just it takes media along with fucking celebrities making shit. Media, celebrities, and peers making shit fucking popular. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this shit wasn't popular during my damn time. Um, it was a niche thing, and you had you had your few little circle of friends that liked that shit, but outside of that, I mean, it wasn't like you could talk to nobody about this shit. Other than that,
It is true that is true, but it's still kind of, you could still say it had an influence in your development and how you thought about things. You understand
true.
me?
Yeah, I
You
can't.
know how you see villains, compared to somebody that didn't know about it at all when it was a niche thing, right?
I'll say, mm, I'll say how I saw villains depended on what I was looking at.
Right. And the thing is
Um,
that what I'm trying to say is that
mhm.
um the the Disney trope was more like happily ever after, You're gonna
Agreed.
you're gonna get, you're gonna get the girl and live happily ever after. You know what I'm saying? The Disney princess, everybody wanting to be a princess and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we see how that shit affects society.
Yeah,
You
yeah. Even
understand
though
what
I
I'm
never,
saying?
golly, I'm trying to think,
But
and it was probably because of age. The only thing I remember looking at, as
mhm,
far as what you're speaking of,
mhm.
they played Snow White, Little Mermaid, and I think Lady and the Tramp when I was in school. But at home, ain't none of that shit playing. Wasn't none of that. I was not looking at none of that shit at home.
No, I feel you. I feel you. No, I feel you. But it's like generally, it's like happily
Yeah.
ever after, love interest and you know, versus I want to be the strongest or I want to be this person, and then you going through this
Mhm.
gruesome training arc called life, technically in the real world, to realize that it takes a lot, what I'm saying, to get there. But, obviously the anime is still gonna have the plot armor for you to keep going, but it's still a gruesome climb, if you will.
I got you. Well, I mean, if you want to get technical about it, I mean, the whole Disney stuff outside of, the ones that I named, they
Hmm.
were all geared towards girls, if we're honest.
Yeah.
They were
That's
made for girls.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Lion King, right? Lion King was for both. Aladdin, I'd say, was for both as
Okay.
well. Peter
Okay.
Pan.
I did
Yeah.
say outside the ones I named. Yeah, Peter Pan. I don't. I think Peter Pan was still a boys deal for the most
Yeah.
part, but they did
But
try and add their little element to it.
Eisen, even if we expand it to
Mm-hmm.
Western animation, so like even if we look at the Iron Mans and the Hulks and all of that stuff, I mean,
That
of
came
course,
later. Yeah.
yeah, that came later, but even there it wasn't happily ever after. It was kind of like I have to save the world type stuff, and
Yeah.
this bad guy is just a
Geared towards
bad guy.
guys. Yeah. They're
you
geared
know
towards guys, boys, young men,
they were
men.
geared towards young men, and you see with the young men it was also a thing where you have this power already bestowed on you, you know and you have to fight the bad guy who's just a bad guy for being a bad guy's sakes, you know and
I can't say that. Um,
go ahead.
Maybe early with DC, but as far as during our time, the one definitive one where I can say that was not the case.
Hmm.
Um, let's see, Spider-Man with Green. Um, then also too, my favorite character,
Could you say that again?
Magneto in the
Magneto.
X-Men.
Yeah.
He
Not well.
wasn't just a bad guy for bad guy's sake. Um,
Well,
he
see, that's
cared
the
about
thing.
protecting the mutant race.
That's the thing, though, Isaac. You see,
Hmm.
like as kids, you know, like you said, Spider-Man, all that, and I'm gonna get to that. All that kind of like comes later, right? But at the time when we were kids in elementary school and all that
It was
stuff, you
still there.
understand?
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, like,
I don't remember, I mean, I
you
remember
don't.
Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Like
the
during,
Amazing Spider-Man. You don't
yeah, like,
remember? Yeah, that nigga got hit with that gas and that experiment. That's what fucked up Norman.
now I know definitely, but even then, it was more like, okay, you got these powers,
Hmm.
bad guy for being bad guy's sake. I have to save the world, So everything was more like, oh, so a villain is doing something, and I have to go figure out what's going on, dead the problem right there, get the villain in jail, or the villain flees, and the day is saved. Wash, rinse, repeat, right?
Okay.
But with anime, for example, like with Naruto, for example, since the whole thing with the psychologist and Naruto and shit like that, it's more like it's still emphasizing that grind where it's like, oh yeah, Naruto is here practicing the Rasengan and shit, and his hands are bleeding. You understand me? Or you have like Rock Lee, who doesn't have any ninjutsu at all. You know what I'm saying? His power comes from the fact that he gotta do 5,000 push-ups every day while everybody else is sleeping. You know what I'm saying? Because he can only fight hand-to-hand combat. Which makes you even think that his Mike Guy and Rock Lee were the only ones that pulled up with hands to the Great Ninja War. No ninjutsu at all. Well, except for that opening the 8 gates and all of that stuff. But you know, still, it teaches slightly a different lesson there, if you understand what I mean.
Not really. I mean, Spider-Man had to grind. He was, I mean, he had powers, but as far as learning how to use them, he had to grind through that shit. Same with the X-Men starting out. I mean, they had the whole problem around the whole story of the X-Men. These niggas had to get together to have their own place together because they couldn't control their powers and somebody could accidentally end up dying. Um, I mean, so they had to grind too. I mean, it's really not that different. The only time they begin to get different is whenever you have certain nuances for villains, but typically you're not going to have that in shonen like that. Most villains aren't nuanced like that. I mean, you got to think the only one nuance like that you had, as far as in Naruto, was Pain.
Itachi.
I don't even consider him a villain. He was a victim.
You see, that is a huge reason. You see, you think he was a victim, but at the end of the day, he kind of was a villain. You understand me? You know, the reason why he's on the opposing side to the Leaf Village, a villain, is because uh of his actions and who he teams up with and everything. So you see
They
that
put him on that
there's a
side.
nuance there.
I mean, they put him on that side. He really. I mean, by the time you get through it, you find out he really infiltrated the Akatsuki.
Yeah.
I mean, he was still on Blue Black Ops.
Yeah. That is true though. He was still
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's no different than like Batman.
Oh, okay, well,
Now, and I'm not talking about the Adam West version. Yeah, of course, that one was they simplified during the '60s. That's why I said there's no point in even going back that far. I wasn't even thought of then.
but that's what I'm saying. It's like I would say in that case, it seems like anime kind of like has a head start in dealing with the nuances and human psyche and all of that stuff rather than there's just good or bad. You understand? Or this whole thing where, I mean, even though with Western animation and stuff, even if you got the powers, you still have to learn how to use them and all of that stuff. But real talk, like if you think about you growing up, you know what I'm saying, watching these superheroes and stuff, they already had their power, they were doing their thing and stuff, unless
In
you
the
read
comics.
the comics.
Yeah. I'll give you that. Which a lot of it's the same for anime too. A lot of that whenever it changes to animated form from the manga, it changes up a lot and they soften up a lot of shit and they take out and change shit. So, but yeah,
that is true. But I guess the lessons are. I can get what you where you say that it still is the same, but
yeah. I mean, like every time I hear people talk about anime, I mean, I don't hear anybody when they're trying to sell an anime of why they should watch it. It's never about the story. It's always about the fights. It's never about it's never about that. It's always, oh, the animation is good and the fights are awesome.
Right.
People are far more simpler than what than what's like to admit. People don't want too much anything complex. I mean, there's reasons why it takes a certain type of individual to get into Vinland Saga and Classroom Elite versus One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach and other type. I mean, heck, you have a lot of people don't like Bleach because they thought it's not simple enough. So,
Hell, look at the villain that you have on your avatar.
yeah,
He is
and I
like,
don't even see one, but yeah,
and you don't even see him as a villain.
no.
You see?
No. I mean, people would disagree with me. Even Bleach fans would disagree with me, but I don't see him as a villain.
Well, just to so would you say that the optimism that we get from say Disney or Western animation has kind of given us some kind of optimism, like kind of like, put it this way, right? It's like you learn about these, I mean, you watch these different things and good guy, bad guy, you kind of see that it's kind of like out there in the world. You want to always be a hero and shit because think about the way you're raised by your parents in the West. It's kind of like in line with these cartoons as well, being the good guy, being the hero, and this and that and that, but then you grow up to a certain stage and you start to learn that the real world is not like that. So all that cartoon stuff, you leave it behind, you know. So it's kind of like you're having to, should I say, relearn how it really is, you know, versus if you were more, if you, if say we had more anime, I guess when we're younger, you know,
Yeah,
or more of the manga, because I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know, Eisen, help me out here, because I'm
I,
trying to figure it out just like you, because
I guess
if you were just
to me, I guess to me, I really don't think that there is that much of a difference. Um, I mean, I mean, you still got people that big up. I mean, my age that big up Dragon Ball Z is the greatest thing ever. But there's like there's no lessons in it. That's what I'm saying. I just think that the popular majority are going to go with something simplistic like that that doesn't have more complex life lessons and characters. People don't
Well,
want to
what
see
about Yu Yu
complexity like that.
Hakusho? What about Yu Yu Hakusho? Yu Yu
What about
Hakusho
it?
seems to be something that in the otaku world is always well praised for, you know, all the different, I mean, I haven't watched it, obviously, you know what I'm
It's
saying?
it's really Yu Yu
But
Hakusho really isn't that complex either. Um, you have a couple of more complex character, but
why would you
most
say it's
people,
not it's not complex?
I don't. In the overall grand scheme of it, it's still, you know, the typical trope of the main character wanting to be stronger to beat up the next guy. There's no um there's no real complexity to Yusuke. Um, he's pretty simplistic. Until until it gets to the chapter black and the final arc, there's not really a whole lot of complexity to Yusuke. I mean, he's a likable Pookie. For you know, simpler terms, I guess to keep it simple. Cool Bar was he's a likable Pookie too. Um, but you know, you just have other characters around him that are pretty crap. I will admit that you know, as far as out of all of the main characters for that I can think of for like shonen main characters, you know, his parent life shit was probably about the most fucked up. Um, it's not like one of those where you know his parents just died and he isn't there. His fucking mom's an alcoholic and a in
Mm.
an absent parent, and we don't even
See,
know about a dad, huh?
mom's the alcoholic and the absent parent. See, that's not something that
I
you
will say
usually
that it
see.
does have a few, but to me, it never really got to the meat of thing until it got to part of the dark tournament. And for me, it's still not the greatest arc. The only thing about the dark tournament was you got to find out about Genkai
Mm-hmm.
and the younger Taguro brother. You find out what happened, and it's more of a ends up being a redemption arc for him. The best arc and the most complex arc you had was the chapter black arc. Um, it's what kind of rounded out things. It's what made you question things. It's where
Mm.
you have a complex villain who's like, damn, I can see why this motherfucker fucked up. You know, so that's what I'm saying. I think those stories and those characters have always been far few in between for anything.
I think maybe also like you said, Dragon Ball, you know, I know
Mhm.
that during the tournaments and stuff, like they used to go into the backstories of a lot of the contestants as well, if I remember it correctly. I mean, it's been a long time for the original Dragon Ball, right?
Oh, when they was kids.
Yeah, you know.
Got you.
So like I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember that too much with Western animation, where it's like, unless again, comics. I didn't
Yeah,
have.
that's the. I ain't gonna lie. It only came in on comics.
Yeah,
Which to be honest, I mean, if we're, I mean it that and that
like
manga is
you
almost the
wouldn't see
same thing.
somebody's parent,
They're
like
similar.
somebody's parents being murdered or slaughtered or something like
Bruce
that would
Wayne,
be like a story you would have in Western animation.
right? Bruce Wayne, Batman.
Batman was like
Um,
one of the first
Spider
ones.
Man. Both of his parents died. And his granddad, Uncle Ben, got killed by a mugger.
Yeah,
Mm.
but that
Superman.
from the
I mean,
comic
Superman.
book
His parents
is
died because the whole planet blew up. So yeah.
you see the things that imagine, like we even know that Superman's parents died because the planet blew up, but
Mhm.
it doesn't really linger like that, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, this superhero that's saving the day and this, that, and the third.
Yeah, that
It-
was not going to linger. What will linger is whenever you've had iterations where Jonathan dies.
yeah,
That means more
yeah.
because they have an actual relationship.
Hell, I would even say Bruce Wayne, like Batman, is like the one character where that whole
Well,
that
hell,
whole
all of them are fucked up.
yeah.
All of them are fucked up. I mean, you got to think. Dick Grayson, Nightwing, his whole family was murdered.
Was
So he
murdered.
takes
Yeah.
him in.
Yep.
Tim Drake.
I remember just growing up thinking that, yeah, Robin is just a sidekick. You know what I'm saying? So again, you see again, it's
Yeah,
like
you really do have to dive. It wasn't Batman the animated series did kind of touch on it.
yeah.
It did
The
touch on it. No,
animated
I
series was
can't.
like
It touched on it,
next
but
level.
yeah.
That was like the first.
It was the real.
Mhm.
It was that had the impact that Dragon Ball Z had in coming over here.
Yes, absolutely. I would agree with that.
That cartoon did.
Definitely it did, because it really showed you more darkness around Batman than you were used to. That you would maybe see in the Batman movie, you know what I'm saying? But cartoon
Still
Batman
not
was still
well.
like gray, blue pants, and jeez, Batman. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever Robin used to
Oh
say.
yeah, you going back to the old Adam West? Yeah, the color.
Yeah, Adam West, that, and even the animated Batman from the 60s and shit. So
And that's because of the restrictions they had with the whole comics code at that time.
yeah. That's true. Because that was from the 60s.
They had that whole because they were going to have originally they were going to have him get together with Catwoman because the whole comics code thing. If they were cracking down on that, I guess it was a government issue that, but they were going to crack down on it. So they had to sit up there and create Batwoman for him.
Yeah.
That's where that whole character came in, of Batwoman for him. So it was, but
So,
still, and still for me, as far as Batman,
mhm.
to me, as far as I could say, to me, the most interesting love interest or whatever you want to say for me is Talia, and that's because that shit is so toxic that it can't help but be interesting.
Yeah. And so, what do you think? Like the current generation, like Gen Z and all that stuff, like they're more drawn to anime. I'm guessing because anime is also more mainstream now than it
Well,
was
they're
before.
drawn to it because American comics suck right now. As far as that and the animated, it sucks right now. That's why.
Yeah. You think no, like also the fact that we're like we're in the social media age, so it's like you can't catch motherfuckers with fairy tales and all that shit no more. Like we have.
But what I mean is, but what I'm getting at is, you had non fairy tale ass stuff in comics, but the writing sucks right now.
Yeah.
It's just ass.
But you can't say that the writing sucks right now, being the reason why, for example, in a place like Palestine, motherfuckers is flying the fucking One Piece flag, my nigga.
I
That is
mean,
more political. I get the point I was
don't
trying to
get me
make.
wrong.
Mhm,
Don't get me wrong. Yes, I do agree with that on that
mhm.
sense. But my point is, people gravitated away from American comics because they suck now.
Yeah, that's you saying that is a major reason.
It is a major reason.
Hmm.
Anime still kept up its quality while
Hmm.
American comics didn't.
Didn't. Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
You, I
absolutely.
mean, there's no way around it.
Damn. Yeah, man, drop the ball, man.
Yeah, the last American, the last one I can remember being good animated. That was, man. Look, Justice League, Dark Apocalypse War. That one was really good. It was dark though, but it was really good. And then Marvel, they're trying to revive it with X-Men 97.
Mm,
I still think the artwork is pretty basic compared to the old Uncanny X-Men.
yeah.
Um, to me, the artwork is still nowhere near as good as that. Um, but the stories have kind of been interesting though, as far as that. But the artwork is still just not on that level. I just don't think you just have the talent level of artists that you had back
Yeah.
then.
Damn, my bad.
Oh, what I
Yo,
do?
nah, nah, not you. Nameless, my bad, yo. How long you been in the back? I wasn't even paying attention. Sorry,
Oh,
sorry.
Oh,
About
it's
that.
all good. I've
Nameless,
just been here chilling. What's going on with y'all,
what's going
man?
on, man?
chilling, chilling, man. Yo, how long you been in the back, Nameless? My bad, yo.
It's only been a minute, man. It hasn't been long.
Okay, okay, okay. Good, good, good,
Can
good.
you guys hear me okay, though?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Excellent.
We can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. How you been, man?
Man, in the mountains, man, just doing my thing, man. Just being grateful. Getting through this disrespectful weather.
Yeah, yeah. Talk about it. I know
It's
you.
probably
You.
less about the weather and more about the lack of preparing infrastructure to handle very simple amounts of snow. I don't understand what the problem is.
You have to
Yeah.
spend money and care about that towards that type of stuff.
I think it's the care part. I mean, when you've got 3 to 4 inches of snow that can shut down the entire infrastructure of Dallas, I really want to fight somebody over this. Makes no sense. Mind you, I think it was 2021 or 22 when 35 West had that 130 something power accident. I think it was one of the worst in modern history.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And all they had to do was just do some simple pre-treatment, throw some ice down, throw some sand down, and they wouldn't do it. And they knew about that snow a week ahead of time.
Mm, mm.
So I don't know what they're doing out here in Dallas, man. It's wow. But
Damn.
yeah,
I
man.
think it was
So
bad everywhere this year as far as on that.
maybe, man. But
Because it was bad in my area too, as far as the actually trying. Yeah,
fair enough. Man, fair enough. They
So
sure meme the
Nameless.
crap out of it. Yeah, go ahead, Smooth. My fault. Go ahead.
Yeah, nah, you good, you good. So what do you wanna contribute to this topic? Like it's mainly about, I don't know, maybe you've seen on social media where it's like they say, oh, it's child psychologists finding out that Naruto raised generation is more prepared for life than the ones raised on Disney. They finding out and stuff like that. So yeah, me and Eisen just been, shooting the shit about, anime versus Western. Now, Eisen says that it's always been the same somewhat, but I still somewhat think that it's like the animes and stuff had a head start on letting you know like it's real trauma out here. You understand me? Ain't nothing sweet, So I know you're very into like Eastern philosophy and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
what
and
would you say?
I'm probably more biased towards Eastern sort of media in a general sense, only because, I didn't come up in the DMV because
Uh-huh.
the Japanese embassy was right there. We had
Uh,
asymmetrical access to a lot of imported stuff that I don't think most people did. And once you leave the immediate DMV, you go beyond Baltimore, you go past Chantilly and VA, or you go out way past Falls Church. I don't think you see that as much. So you get into Philly and Jersey and New York, and it's much
mhm,
more comic oriented. And what you saw
Mhm.
was there was a kind of a culture that sort of surrounded it, because to get access to it, you had to import. So it became sort of like this bundle package where if you liked anime, you were also in the same place where you could get imported modded versions of PlayStations and other systems and other games that just didn't release in the West that stayed
mhm,
over there. And
mhm,
you got access to the modeling culture. And what I mean by that is, I'll take Gundams, for example. They
Mhm.
would have the realistic replicas and all of that, and
mhm.
you would go to the same location to get your VHS anime, your DVD animes, you get your video game mods, and you get your models and figurines and all of that. So it was kind
Right.
of really like an underground cult culture. So I think that breeds an environment where the perspective of it sort of shifts, and then you get
Mhm.
access to things that just would not fly on regular TV. It just wouldn't. Like, when
Right.
we look at it, when I think it was sci-fi gave people a taste of it back in the I want to say 98, 97, 98, real
Yeah,
late
that's
at
what
night.
somebody in the chat had said as well. Muno Kokyu.
Yeah, that's me. That's me
Oh, that
running my
was
mouth in
you.
the
Okay,
chat.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
Okay.
okay. That was you. Okay.
yeah.
There you go.
So back then you had things like Vampire Hunter D. And Vampire Hunter D,
Mhm.
it's your stereotypical, we've all seen the vampire hunter concept. There's nothing new about that. What was new
Right.
about this is how gory it was. So when you see him take his katana slash rapier, that's the size of a greatsword, and cut somebody in half, and they have all of this
Mm-hmm.
graphic gore detail behind that, that's what got people pegged on anime at first. So it was
Right.
a graphic part of it where it just allowed for more of a mature expression of what they're used to seeing on TV.
Yeah.
Then I'll go back to another really popular anime at the time, and I mentioned that in the chat, Neon Genesis Evangelion. I'm gonna tell you right now, they probably opened up an entire subsection of psychology just to treat people who watched that series.
Damn.
It
And see, I can admit, because of my location, people
Damn.
that watched those, it was few and far in between. So and we're, I don't know, me and Nameless may be about the same age, but people that watch like Neo Genesis, Evangel, Robotech,
Evangelion, yeah,
it
Robotech and all
was
that, yeah,
all
man.
it was that was like extreme niche. Vampire Hunter D, that was like extreme. No,
Yeah, folks didn't know about this,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
They really didn't.
You had to really look for that. I mean, Berserk and all
That's
that. That
wild.
shit was that's just like extremely niche. It wasn't, it wasn't really widespread, as far as everybody. That's why I was trying to say, make my point across, of people mostly gravitating towards simple, which wouldn't be those.
Right. So that's why I preface that by saying I think there's a difference between people who were in the DMV and folks who weren't. And this is kind of like the trend I'm noticing with the point you're making. A lot of
Mm.
people, when I have this conversation with them, if they're not from that region, getting access to that was kind of awkward or weird. They
It's
knew
difficult.
people who knew people. You know what I'm saying? And it's to your point, man. It wasn't easy getting access to that stuff until Toonami shows up. And to your
Yeah.
point, Smooth, I think what's actually being talked about is the Toonami era. And by then, I think I was graduated high school, getting ready to go in the military by the time Toonami was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I I didn't really get much of an influence on that. But my era of folks that mess with anime, to Aizen's point, we saw that as, oh, y'all mainstreaming, you know what I'm saying? We don't even mess with it anyway because it's dubbed. That's the type of culture we were on. So for most
Yeah.
people, their first access was Toonami. And so it would be the fights, it would be some of the video games or the Shonen Jump manga that got popular eventually. And I
Yeah.
think it was like a composite of all those real big major anime all in one. And
Mm-hmm.
some of them got anime adaptations, like what was it? Was it Black Book? The one with Asta. Is it
Black
Black Book?
no.
Black Clover.
Wait.
Yeah, Black Clover.
Death
I
Note.
think it is.
You
No,
think
no,
about
Death
Death
Note
Note?
came much later.
It did. Okay.
Yeah, it came later, but it was still a shonen. Yeah, Black
Yeah,
Clover.
it's still.
It was still a shonen, right? And I think it was in that Shonen Jump
It was.
manga. Yeah, yeah. I never really messed with that stuff. Like I was. I guess I was way more interested in the niche stuff. So Berserk got my attention. I would.
Yeah, I know a huge Berserk fan, yo. Oh, look, he's even in the I just thought of him, and he's in the chat, yo. There he go, man.
Yeah.
You call Berserk, man, and this dude shows up. See?
But the thing was, the games that came out on Dreamcast that you couldn't buy in the stores is how a lot of people in the DMV got hip to that. Because they were like, who's this dude with this big sword and what the heck is going on with this story?
Oh, Nameless, Blaze,
yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember Pandora's Box in College Park?
Pandora. Oh man, Pandora's. I think it was Pandora's Cube.
Okay.
We'd always call it Pandora's.
Okay.
So that was in Maryland, and then oh my God, it was a lot of those spots because the harbor's right there. So a lot of that stuff was coming in through the harbor. You had spots in Chantilly you could go to. There were places in, what was it? Not the Blue Ridges, but I guess it was in Falls Church still. So you go where all the Koreans are at. They had that stuff. Aizen, go ahead. My bad.
I was gonna ask you. I was gonna say to you. You brought up the Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm.
Man, here I had a partner. I have no idea how they got this shit, how they would find this shit. But before the Dreamcast, I don't know if you remember, that Sega CD exposed a lot of that Asian content over here.
Bam. It was the fighting game.
And he was the only one that had that. I was like, I don't know how he got all this shit.
Yeah, man. Well, people from New York would come down to the DMV just to get access to the outlet malls. And some of the outlet malls were selling some of that stuff, or you weren't far from where these stores were, where these outlets were. And as long as you were back to catch the bus before they left at the end of the evening, people would come down here and get a lot of that stuff and then resell it from where they're going back to. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I mean, it was big. Like people would have the anime shirts. You could go to like the Hot Topics that would be in the mall there, and they would sell tons of that stuff.
Yeah. But I ain't gonna lie, a lot of what I got exposed to was because I ended up getting on back when dial-up. I was looking at anime on dial-up. I'm gonna be honest.
Damn.
Back with the what was it, the Yahoo chat boxes that off in the chest and check during that time. I would get on there and look at I would look at the ones that I could look at school. I would. Like I knew doggone well I couldn't catch no JoJo's and Berserk and all that, at school. But when I got home, I could check all that.
I think it was Newgrounds was one of those sites that had Yeah, man. Nah, that was, man, you taking me back with that. Oh, that's funny.
So would y'all say that? So you could agree that the anime exposure really gave you an early exposure how complex the world is. Would y'all say that it helped y'all deal with the real world better than what the West pretty much sanitized in theirs. I guess unless you were a comic fan.
I don't know, man. I'll say for me personally,
Mm-hmm.
the whole reason I got in martial arts was because I saw Ninja Turtles when I was overseas. And I just trolled my parents until they finally let me do it. And I don't think that had much to do with anime, but it was a gateway to it later. So I don't think that, let me rephrase that. I think that article is speaking to the Toonami era, and that's important because of what wasn't going on. So I think Aizen was talking earlier about how there is a lower trending curve for Western media happening around this time, and a rising curve for Eastern media at the exact same time. Mm-hmm. So I think they came around when the East had the mic. So I think what they noticed is that since the environment in Japan at the time, and we got to remember 96, that's when the big crash happened over there. So a lot of the content they're creating is helping people deal with the inevitability of having to make something from nothing, to be at a disadvantage and try to make a comeback from that. That was an actual mandate behind the scenes that, if you want to do some research on that, you can find out about. But that's exactly what was beginning to happen or won't really be a big thing until around 2012. So 2012, when this stuff is more popular because of gaming, the internet's faster, there's more streaming involved.
Right.
A lot of them are coming into having this pattern of being able to adapt to situations they see in their life, and then they can relate to a character to a certain degree. And to Aizen's point, these things existed in Western media. You could go take it the whole story of Scott from X-Men, technically, Jubilee's story, technically. The whole situation with the dichotomy between Professor X and Magneto as far as philosophies goes. Mm-hmm. You've got Blade, who very clearly a lot of people related to. I was sized on that.
Yeah.
But for many people around the 2012 era, the only thing they had to remember was what Neji was going through. They could remember the situation with Rock Lee, obviously. Mm-hmm. They related to Naruto claiming that he wanted to be Hokage and then looking at how he was treated earlier. So for them, and it's difficult because I look at that and it looks corny to me, but if that's all you have to compare to, I get it. And it's awkward seeing that now, but people who were born in 2002, man, like they're in their 20s and stuff now. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're legit adults at this point, and they have their whole worldview predicated on a series we thought was trash to the most part compared to everything else that was out there. So
I always thought it was mediocre. Which, I mean, shonen is
what about One Piece?
Well, compared to the manga is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Go ahead, fam.
No. So what about One Piece? Did y'all feel like that about One Piece as well? I didn't get onto One Piece until much later, like adult.
I didn't get into One Piece
even when it was out back then. I didn't really care because
I didn't try until later, because I had gotten into Bleach. I liked Bleach out of all the shonen just because it was more complexly written versus all of the shonen to me. But One Piece to me, you could not sell me on it just because it was kind of too goofy and kiddie to me.
The characters crazy.
And then whenever I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna give it a try because people, and I look at it, and it's still like, for me, like 80% of it is like the Pokemon style of going to the big bad gym leader every week. I'm going, this week it's this gym leader I got to beat up. The next week it's this gym leader.
Wow, it wasn't that.
What?
Nah.
Until it got to the Subodhi Archipelago arc, it was the villain of the week. whenever the Sapote archipelago arc hit, that's when you got the complexity of slavery and shit. Come on now.
You
I'm
know, isn't
saying,
like I couldn't get over the kiddiness rap.
I understand that. And you know, for me, Nameless, it was like once it hit that, the slavery part, I'm like, oh damn. Now we get into some complexity, but everybody that would try and tell me about selling this anime to me, nobody ever brought this part up. It's
Wait
like,
a minute.
damn.
What about
You know
the
what it was?
What about the Skypiea arc?
Mind you, I haven't seen this yet. So y'all about to jump in some
you haven't
spoilers. Let me know.
it?
Nah.
Yeah.
The Skypiea arc was all about freaking two opposing tribes and all of that stuff. Of fighting each other. It was the whole tribalism thing. A war that they took from Earth all the way up to, well, the clouds, heaven, and all that shit when that great split happened. You know,
but it's not like it's. I mean, but what I'm saying is that that's still not. It's still not the level of complexity that it had when it got to the celestial dragons around the slavery shit.
yeah,
And the Doflamingo. It's still pretty simplistic. And okay, they don't like them because of this. They don't like each other because of this right here. It was still that it. And the best part, to be honest, the best part about Skypiea was leading up to the loss of the Going Merry.
Right, but I think you could in general, because you already mentioned the celestial dragons and stuff like that. You could in general you could say that every arc of One Piece, it's always the pirates fighting villains that are somewhat connected to the world government. You know, there's always some world government style involvement.
In the beginning, they were pirates fighting each other.
So I want to say some points here.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, because it's cool, because it's a pattern I'm noticing with a lot of manga artists and just Japanese media overall. So y'all know I play MMOs, and one of the bigger ones right now is Final Fantasy 14. And what's special about it is it's one of the only Japanese MMOs that means anything right now. And one of the biggest issues when you've got the way they do stories. So a lot of Japanese media, it'll start with a very specific sort of suspense of belief idea behind it. And then over time, the story will unfold and get more sophisticated and have more arcs and get more sophisticated and have even more arcs to the point where by the time it actually gets really good, it looks nothing like the way it started, to the point where it's alien. And the problem is, because they've linked and contextualized each part to the prior part, if you jump in the middle, you're robbing yourself of a good experience. So what you end up having to do is go all the way back to the very beginning, and you get told, keep watching, keep playing. It gets good later. It gets good later. It gets good later. One Piece is a literal textbook example of that from what I'm seeing right now.
I can agree with that.
It is definitely a motif of Japanese storytelling in modern media since the mid 2000s, I've noted. But go ahead, fam.
No, you're right. I can agree with that.
I can agree with that as well.
I think the point that I was hitting on, though, versus him, is that every time I hear everybody explain whatever the anime is, it's typically down to two things. It's the quality of the artwork and fighting. There's never anything about it having an interesting story that's compelling or complex. And that's why I say that. That's why I say that, you know. That's why I say there's not much of a difference versus A to B.
Yeah, and based on what Nameless was saying about how kids that were born in 2002, if you think about 2012, they're like 10 years old, 9 years old. So they grow up on that whole Naruto thing, right? The whole Toonami era. right? Or all the Toonami anime and stuff. So if you grow up with that, that is basically I want to be the strongest. I want to be this and that, fighting, fighting, fighting. So I can kind of see how um that is what they gravitate to the most. Like you say, Aizen.
Mhm.
Animation and fighting.
You know how I document this crap?
How?
So I document it by looking at the way ninja have changed from the 80s up into the release of Naruto. And
Oh, Nameless. Remember you recommended the Bansen Shukai
yes,
6 years ago now. I finished it
bruh, do you see what I'm saying?
last year. Yeah, yeah. I'm a
Do you
Shinobi
see?
fanatic. You already
So you've
since
got
then.
a point of reference. Man, when I tell you, even in modern Budo right now,
Mhm.
the fact that those scrolls got released, it was the Bansen Shukai, the Ninpiden, which is
Mhm.
the Hanzo lineage from the Iga,
Yep.
and the Shonen Ki, which is pretty
Shonuki.
much like it's like the Webster's dictionary of ninjutsu.
Yeah.
Like once those three scrolls came out in 2012, man, the Budo scene really everybody suddenly became samurai. That's all I'll say. I don't know. Everyone's samurai all of a sudden, like, oh, okay, all right. So that's what this was. All right, I get it. Daisuke Togekure was actually a samurai, and then y'all had a skill set. You're not actually ninja. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Like, it made a lot of people come clean about what they were teaching. And so, for the most part, a lot of people kind of like exited stage left. And I think whatever momentum that came out of the 80s with ninjutsu really began to change. The good news is a lot of authentic ninjutsu started showing up, and it pretty much is witchcraft.exe. And I don't think a lot of people were ready for that. And
Yeah.
so when we get Naruto that shows up, it kind of, and this is my opinion on Naruto. The moment I learned about Wuxia, Chinese Wuxia, I realized that Naruto is just a Japanese reskin of Chinese Wuxia. And then it made perfect sense to me. Every single niche in Chinese Wuxia is right there in Naruto.
Well, it wouldn't be. It's not a surprise because a lot of Japanese stuff, folklore, started with the Chinese anyway. Like that was the pinnacle of sophistication in everything,
Yes,
philosophy, everything.
but they didn't have to do that with anime, and that particular individual did because Bleach damn sure isn't a Wuxia. You see what I'm saying? It was out at the same time.
Oh,
I'm just saying that particular Kishimoto specifically low key made a Japanese Wuxia. And then instead of making them cultivators, he made them ninja. And so a lot of what people
Yes.
a lot of people compare a lot of the stuff they see in Naruto as being references to ninjutsu. And the only things that may even remotely be similar is the description of taijutsu. And I don't even think anyone translates that to what it actually means and what you're actually doing. They kept the various elemental nature, which is the godai that exists in actual ninjutsu. All the techniques are arranged by elements, but they use a oriental elemental classification and energy system by using chakra instead of ki, or inyo, which is the yin yang
the
concept.
yin yang. Yeah.
So I compare that to what I saw with Tenchu, which was as authentic as you probably can get for fiction, if you remember that series. And then I compare it to what I see with Naruto, and then everyone compares the ninja running technique, the Kuji no Ashi, them running forward with their arms behind their
With the
back.
arms out, yeah.
I would have got my ass beat doing that in class.
Yeah.
But there's I'll say this last part. There are actual ninja running techniques, and they do involve you leaning forward to have a different center of gravity, but you're not having your arms
Exaggerated like
behind your
that.
back.
You're not having the
Yeah,
arms. Yep.
and there's
I was
a
going to say
way
that.
there's a way you're using your feet on the balls of your feet, and it depending on the kind of equipment you're using, it would serve as a counterweight. Like normally you'd have a ruck that is acting as a counterweight. So you leaning forward that way helps balance the load and allows you to have less stress. It's a long distance running technique, but yeah, but go ahead, fam. Go ahead.
You know what,
I'm
Nameless,
rambling.
being you said that, I really realized that this this Chinese thing I got into where the elements, I'm like, wait, hold on, this and Naruto are pretty much like the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of similarities here. And the one I'm thinking about is called, I think it's called King of I have to look it up. I have to look it up. It's in the English version they call it I've God, but the Japanese version it's called King of something. And King of God, I have to look it up.
Oh, wait, is the dude a straight villain? And he reincarnated after he died, and he did all of this stuff so that when he reincarnated, he'd be a stronger cultivator.
He didn't necessarily reincarnate it so much as the other character essentially split his soul to create him.
Right.
Even though but he's still like the creator of this whole fan universe. Because he has his eye is what's making creating this world.
I may not be.
There's probably similarities because the story you're probably thinking about may be the precursor to mine.
Maybe there's a popular series right now going on about a demonic cultivator, and a lot of psychologists like this series because he sort of defines a clinical definition of a narcissist, and everything he does is so textbook that a lot of them like using this character as like a case study to kind of examine, these personality archetypes. That's why it's kind of popular right
What
now.
show is that?
I gotta look at the name again, man. It sounds like what Aizen's talking about, honestly, but I'll look it up later.
Talk more about that Wuxia, that Chinese Wuxia thing. So what exactly is that? Is that like folklore? Or?
It's pretty cool, man. Do you know that game that came out recently? I think it's called Way of the Wind or something like that.
Yeah, I've been playing
just
this
came
game. Hold on. Where the winds meet.
Where the winds meet. Yes,
great game.
That is a textbook Wuxia to the T. It is the most stereotypical entry level. This is Wuxia, and in fact, Smooth. If you haven't heard, you've seen it before. You just probably didn't know it had a name. The Korean version of it is called Miram, and it's interesting. Consider it like high fantasy in the way that you saw Wukong, but it's a series of Chinese fantasy tropes that I think everybody in the East collectively kind of piggybacks and borrows from. So the whole idea centers around Taoism and the Tao, the way, and confronting the way of heaven in a lot of other instances and issues. And you have these people who they gain the ability to do miraculous things. I think the term Wuxia translates to something like hero or something like that. I have to look at all of that stuff later. But the idea is that you are an individual that has the ability to make great change and do heroic deeds and concepts. And you've got various realms of being you can exist in. And there's the idea of the cultivator, which is based off of Chinese spiritual alchemy or inner alchemy. I think it's called Neidan, where you can go through a series of, it's a lot like Kujikiri, but it's the precursor to it. So you do a lot of meditations and various techniques. And the idea is to turn your spirit into gold, so to speak, and become immortal. And you do so through rigorous training and breathing techniques and practices. The general term for it is cultivating and cultivation as a system. And there's so many different ways you can do it. You've got various stages to it. Generally, it starts off with people being mortal and then more than mortal, where there's sort of like entry stages.
Mhm.
And depending on your latent talent, you may develop what's understood as a spirit root. And that spirit root, you can think of it as like your astrological sign. And your astrological sign gives you a indicator as to the potentiality that you might have, your elemental association, your affiliation, the type of physique you might have, which is sort of like you can look at it in a video game sense like a class. So everyone's not the same. And the idea is that you begin similarly like everyone else, where you awaken that and you go through what's understood as body tempering and you get prepared to be a cultivator. And from that time going forward, you find a sect or an organization that has techniques dedicated to the particular predisposition you have. And it's actually pretty robust, man. And Wuxia was something I didn't expect to like, but it's great, man. When
That's
you
the
get
name of
time,
the. That's the name of
that's
the
the
story.
genre. That's the
Okay,
genre. The
okay.
genre, it's a whole genre, man. And I think honestly, it's been more entertaining than most animes I've been taking a look at. And
Gotcha.
apparently these things have been popular since like the 19th century.
Damn. Okay.
This
Because
is
okay,
OG
Damn.
fantasy.
I finally.
Yeah.
The Chinese name of it translates to King of Gods.
Oh, Blaze
But,
said something about crouching tiger, hidden dragon type shit. Yeah, I'm familiar with that kind of stuff. That's not you know motherfuckers that be running on
Water and
grass
all of that.
stuff.
Yeah.
And they be floating through the air. Well, here's the
Float through
thing.
the air.
A lot of the Chinese martial movies, I think
Yes.
around 2010, 2015, started going more towards the wuxia style again. So in China, it goes through phases. But yeah, man, definitely take a look at that. That's why.
But yeah,
You see my point about Naruto?
yeah, no,
But
because
now that you say that stuff, if you think about it, right? Because if you even think about the whole ninja thing, you know, even the word ninja and stuff, how that's just a commercial word, you know,
Yeah.
and all of that stuff really came about when people were writing the folklore about who the shinobi were and stuff like that, and with all this ninjutsu, all this magic and stuff, and I'm sure they borrowed a lot from that, you know, wuxia stuff to create this whole ninja lore that everybody loves now, you know.
But yes, I do see it because this particular one I was talking about called King of Gods, the main character in here named Zhao Feng. He's pretty much like a badass freaking Sasuke that's better.
It's called Kingdom of Gods.
It's called King of Gods in the Chinese version.
Kingdom Gods.
King of Gods.
Okay.
Yeah, King of Gods. And the main character's name is Zhao Feng, but yeah, you got this different eye, you know, you got these different eye traits, techniques, and all that stuff. Then, like you said, with you got the soul and spirit cultivation. Some people are more inclined and better towards it, with soul and mind, and then you have those that are, you know, they have the potential in the line to basically have an immortal body, so their physical cultivation and all that different stuff. But yeah.
It's cool, man. Like I didn't expect to see, like it's not a package I'm used to giving a damn about, but what I appreciate is the depth of the genre itself. So like even when you look at a different series, a different wuxia, every single one explains the concept a different way, but it's still following the same sort of recipe. You know what I'm saying? And it's really
same principles almost. Yeah.
It is. There's a lot that rhymes with it. All the wuxias rhyme with each other. You're gonna have the spirit and the physical cultivators. You're gonna have the various stages. You're gonna have the peaks. You're gonna have the breakthroughs, the people who have bottlenecks. You're gonna have the whole. It's like leveling up, man. In fact, I suspect the idea of levels and leveling up came from wuxia. Like, this is the type of DNA I'm finding in this genre right now, where I think folks was biting off of it and didn't say
well, you
that.
know the whole thing. Well, you know, because they've kind of China's accepted this and gone into these stories. They're animated. Dongwa, I think is what it's called. It's taken off because of this.
I don't doubt it at all. I don't doubt it. I go so far as to say is that Dragon Ball is actually a Wuxia.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah,
That's oh gosh, Wukong. I forgot what Journey into the West is the Chinese version. That was the name of the story. Journey into the West. Yeah. They stole that from China. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
The whole idea of sensing power levels and having breakthroughs and training in different time space dimensions, eating herbs and other things that magically heal you, like all of that's in Wuxia, man. It's hilarious, man.
So you could, I mean, if I think about, like, just given the idea from what Blaze said in the chat, it seems like everything that, you know, that whole gravity defying stuff, you know, where you fly, you jump high in the sky, even all those old kung fu movies, we used to see that shit back then. So
Chinese,
that's what probably inspired that whole, you know, anime jumping all high up in the sky and stuff. You know, you fight for a little bit, you know.
Well, they had that in there.
See who's kung fu is best.
But it's they borrow from each other. I mean, there's no doubt. But yes, you are right. How the difference in the cultivation wuxia aspect of things versus the typical samurai stuff. It is different. Yeah.
But I mean,
but it's good though. But
fight for righteousness and justice and all that stuff as well, just like samurai.
No, that's the whole meme behind Wuxia. You know, it's this idea that you're fighting for the people, and you're this one individual that can take on armies for the good of justice and whatnot. And then, you know, you've got the flip side of that, where other people are like, well, I'm strong enough to take it, so I'm gonna do that. Like, it covers the whole mandate.
Yeah.
It even goes through the whole anime trope of fighting God. So you'll get somebody who's like, maybe they reincarnated and had bad luck, but then they discover this forbidden manual of demonic cultivating. And so they cultivate by summoning darkness or something like that.
Yeah,
everyone thinks that's bad. And they're like, here you are getting stronger and you got to hide it and whatnot. And, you know, there's
going
so many
different realms. And
right. And so
what Wuxia shows are you currently watching?
Man, I'm not looking at anything specific these days. I've got a lot of audiobooks I get into. There's a really good one called Chi equals MC square, which is actually probably a great way to get started because it explains the entire genre from the beginning.
I'm gonna look that one up because the two that, like I said, the two that I had gotten into were King of Gods, and then the other was Battle Through the Heavens. Those are the two that drew me in. They're pretty cool.
There's Cultivation Nerd. That's a good one.
Okay.
And then Chi equals MC square, just like it sounds. It's spelled with a Q.
Okay. QI.
Yeah, equals MC square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pick up a little bit now that I've been watching this Chinese stuff. So.
Yeah, man. Like, you read one of them and it's kind of like a freaking portal to all these other ones now. Like, you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Well, I think Kishimoto did spend years like studying different I think religions and traditions and stories and lore and all that stuff before
But the way it copies Wuxia is to the point where it's almost like, wow, how do y'all not see that?
Well, I mean, you'd have to know. You'd have to know. You'd have to get into the Chinese to even know.
Yeah, and that's what I think because CCP is spending more money on right now, because you know they going pretty hard on in the anime side as well with the Chinese.
Well, I mean, they do not. They're strictly. Hey, look, Chinese, South Koreans, and Japanese. They do not like each other like that, especially Japanese and Koreans.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was saying, you know, the whole Jinwoo thing, solo leveling. It is not big over in Japan, they're going boycott it like that just because it's Korean.
Yep. I'm shocked it got an anime adaptation. I'll be honest with you. I'm utterly shocked it got greenlighted. But when I saw how much money they decided to put behind that,
They pushed that thing out there.
Yeah.
fam.
They pushed it.
Bruh.
They pushed it.
And they didn't care what form this stuff was in. They took a story synopsis of the actual web manga, turned it into an anime, and it's still sold, fam. I don't understand.
I do. I mean, what are they gonna look at? I ain't trying to be. What are they gonna look at now?
Aizen, you're right. You're right. The timing was perfect because ain't nothing else to watch. And all they did was just spend the budget on the fights, and that was it. And it's like, bruh, you don't have any of the story. I don't think the
need
anime
nothing else. You don't need. People love simplicity. This goes all the way back to regular television. And you know
Aizen was right, though.
You don't need nothing else,
bruh. If you understood, if you understood how much story was left behind on Solo Level, you don't know why nothing's going on.
I looked up. I know what's going on, but yeah, most people don't. Yeah.
It might as well have been a highlight reel, bro. You know how they got those episodes that be summing up the series as a filler?
What is the recaps? Right. That's all it is. That's all the recaps.
Bro, that anime is there for people who watched the manga and was like, so you want to see this animated? Here's what it looks like. That's what Solo Leveling the anime is.
Yeah.
Oh, that is funny as hell.
When I started reading the manhwa, I did notice a lot of things that would have been important to know as well, you know, and that wouldn't make Jinwoo seem like just a dumb Chad that's just leveling up in powers, you know.
Do people even know he's doing this for his mom?
Yeah.
Okay, it does establish that in the beginning. Yes,
it does establish.
It does,
but it don't really show how he was getting shitted on for like the entire first part of the manga.
Yeah,
it shows it. Like season 1 shows all the shitting on and stuff.
It shows it. Now I'm pretty sure it doesn't go into detail as much as the webtoon did.
I was gonna say because the webtoon,
but it does show it. It does show it. You do get that.
Because there was a lot of development he went to before he got into the Temple of Karnak.
Yeah, between that and his sister worrying about him and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That part where everybody's shitting on him, and when he gets into that temple and stuff where he almost dies. There's a lot of story in between there which you don't see in the anime. That
is the thing. It does get to that Temple of Karnak shit pretty quick, but it does. They do shit on it, but it does get there pretty quick. Yes.
So what they must not be doing then is explaining the entire hunter system, so you don't get a real sense for how important the S ranks are and how big a deal it is to be one. And then
they ain't finna
anything.
The anime at all. Wait, hold on. But the thing that'll happen is they'll probably borrow from the same model we were talking about. What happened with One Piece? They gonna wait and get into that shit. I'm just saying.
But wait, it's like he goes into the temple and all of a sudden you see Beru. It's like, bruh, well, how much did you skip? They already on Beru?
Yeah, that's the thing. Season two was they did leave chunks out. There was a lot of chunks left out during season, especially when you get to Jeju Island and stuff. That's the story. Like once you do read the manual, you do see what they leave out, but would have been important to note. But if you focused on the animation and the fights, you don't really care.
Hey, look, they already know people attention span ain't that long to care about all that shit.
Yeah, I think
but listen, some of the coolest fights were in the Demon Castle, man. So it sounds like they skipped that.
They didn't.
No.
Wait. Did you watch the anime? Did you watch season 1 and 2 of Solo Leveling?
I saw the highlights, man. I knew I was gonna be disappointed if I watched that anime.
Okay. I get it. It's the effect of reading a book before the movie comes out. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. No, I do. That's why I knew if it was something that I would want to see, I had to watch the movie or whatever it was first, then go read the book. That way I wouldn't be utterly disappointed.
Yeah, that's how I did it as well.
Mm. I think it came out in COVID. I saw it during COVID. So I think it was a while ago. So that was the only choice, and it was absolute fire.
I got you.
Absolute fire. And it just some of the scenes on there, like when he gets the achievement of the one who overcame adversity, that shit was fire. I got it in a screen cap somewhere. Just so many micro details were cool about that because okay, so you remember what I said about the Wuxia, right? So Korea has their version of that called Miriam. And from there's like a sort of pseudo isekai genre that showed up out of nowhere. So you guys saw the whole isekai situation where folks get sent to another world, etc., etc.
Right, yeah, because I brought up it
kind of had isekai at all.
Yeah,
like
you said what?
I haven't gotten into that at all, except for one.
I've gotten into isekais, but I did say in the beginning that it's kind of got isekai elements to it, even though it's not an isekai.
Well, let me explain. So it's actually a specific genre, and I didn't notice that they made it a genre, but there's so many of them now. They call it Dungeon Gate isekais or Dungeon Gate web. What do they call them? Manguas. Okay. Mangua. So the whole concept centers around the idea of hunters. That's what they call adventurers in Korea. So if you guys have played like Monster Hunter, you know, you got the whole lobbying system, and you got it's just like that. Just like that. And the whole situation normally starts out where everybody's chilling in the world, and all of a sudden a portal opens up and monsters start showing up, and then people start getting powers.
Right.
They call it a dungeon gate. It's a whole subgenre on webtoons. So that's how solo leveling got its DNA. It came from that particular vector from the Korean manga scene, and it borrowed certain elements from Miram, where for them they got two different directions they go. They like to go hyper realism, and they deal with like bullying and stuff like that. So like they like taking the wuxia genre and making it modern. So what you'll see is like folks that are dressed up looking like the Triad and the Yakuza, but they're cultivators. They cultivate. They've got the whole training thing. It's just that they're in suits and sunglasses and shades and look like special agents, and they're fighting. And they've got like CEOs and whatnot instead of some sort of provincial lord that's in these fancy looking robes. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much what they call modern wuxia. It's a lot like Baki, actually. The way Baki plays out. You know, you have all these people, they have their styles, they got their story arcs they go through, they have their organizations they're affiliated with. That's the Korean modern Miram. And they also do the historical Miram, where they'll go back, and that's where you'll hear terms like heavenly demon. You probably will hear that term a lot, Aizen, when you get into further into the
I'm a heavenly demon and whatever other kind of demon I hear, fire demon, whatever. I hear all of that now. Yes. Yes. Between these two that I mentioned, I hear all of that now.
Yeah, man. That's where it comes from. You hear things like Orthodox sect and forbidden sex and
Mystic Cloud,
demonic sex.
Whatever type of name in Chinese that yes, trust me. Yes.
Sounds very occult.
It's so like it's part of the fantasy storytelling motif though for them, and it's just we haven't really been privy to it in the West like that because a lot of that stuff just wasn't translated the same way. So they've been since the 19th century they've been on this stuff, man, and depending on who you talk to, man, you probably somebody in the BC era these folks were talking about this stuff. So this is old, man. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah,
how long you been traveling in the wuxia again?
You said what?
How long you been reading?
Bro, I just tripped over this. Like I tripped over this like maybe last year sometime. Like 2024 last year.
Okay. Dang. So
Yeah,
pretty
I'm
recent.
super new, man. Like I knew about inner alchemy and all of that stuff, and I knew what it was, but I didn't know it had a name and a genre and all of this uniformity to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, the Chinese are well, yeah.
But I
The
mean,
Chinese are
that's like
pretty OP.
even. I mean they. I mean that's like even in Bleach. What I think the whole concept of Aizen is based around this part of it. It's based like around they think two concepts. One of them is a Chinese guy who was oh gosh, he was like some type of emissary that did calligraphy and all that stuff, and who came to Japan and learned about different things. So they blended a whole bunch of elements to make him, and around this particular Chinese guy who was a teacher and all that stuff. So
Mm.
yeah, they bought. It's like they take from each other heavily. So it's like yeah,
And the whole idea of kanji came from China. So like
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
just
That
those
mispronounced it.
elaborate characters.
yep.
Yeah, but they got 3 different languages, man.
Yeah, 3 different
Japan,
alphabets.
shout out to Japan. God damn.
Ah,
I got to get back on mine. That doggone kanji is ooh god.
Yeah, man. I'm good on that. You gotta get 10K memorized though, at least.
Oh god.
Yeah. I had to work on my God, is it L5. But
so have you ever had to like use your Japanese language skills anywhere nameless like for work or anything or
oh
has it
yeah, all the time, man. Constantly getting paid. More
Oh
so
yeah.
when I was in DC, a lot less so now. Now it's just, the personal stuff I do with my translations and the
Okay.
voice acting stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's about it.
Oh, you do voice acting stuff?
Not officially. I
Let me
do
find out you
content.
in one of these animes, dog.
I'll neither confirm or deny.
Ah,
Oh shit, let's go.
I got stuff moving in the background with
I
it.
mean it
So
ain't up yet. That's what that means. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Can't speak
Yeah.
about it. It's still in the works.
yeah.
It's coming out next year.
But yeah, there's some personal, non-personal stuff. On the personal tip, man, it's just really interesting, man. I've really been getting into Zen like that. And getting into the old school Zen, like the 1200th century type of Zen. And it's a lot of interesting concepts that I think are pretty relevant today, man. Concepts like the kintsugi idea and perspectives on, I guess, life, death, and rebirth, and how you can do that in mind, body, and spirit, and how relevant that is today, because that's pretty much the one area we still have control over as human beings collectively in front of all of this technology. I'm digressing slightly from the point, but there's a lot that I hear them talking about all the way back in 12 AD. It has a lot of relevance to the what's going on now as people really begin pondering the meaning of meaning, so to speak.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of the rebirth, you have a lot of those type of similar type deals in Chinese stories and myths or whatever you want to call them. Regardless of whether it's being the wuxia like you were talking about, or in shows in general, regular TVs and movie type stuff. So yeah, it's heavily as far as in the Chinese culture and their work.
Yeah, man, it's just worth considering. And a lot of the ideas that I see inspired a lot of what I was studying with ninjutsu. One thing they got right in Naruto was highlighting one of the aspects that was there from the very beginning. And it's this idea of the seinen, or the hermit. I guess what Jiraiya and all of them end up being.
Yeah.
In actual Nimpo, that ties directly into Shugendo. And so when you start getting into Shugendo and you start looking at, those aspects that are tied to that, man, it's all about just connecting with nature in the most fundamental senses and coming to realize that all of those elements are what comprise your body and everything. Like it's everywhere. And this isn't anything different, man. Any original culture you go to has pretty much said. And it's just really cool seeing how these things go full cycle back to the same points all over again, just articulated differently.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Without a doubt. Dang, I forgot. I think there was another audio book I was listening to. I want to check out the Chinese version.
Was it
That
Wuxia?
I think it probably was. It had to do with dragons.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I've got to find that out. So yeah,
Well, you had to do with dragons.
yeah. I mean they do a lot of stuff with dragons and stuff in Chinese culture. So yeah.
Yep.
My thing lately has been the koi fish, man. That whole story.
Hmm.
I got some content coming out about that whole entire idea. In fact, it's kind of what I'll talk to you offline, Smooth. I messed around and made a whole verbal martial art around the whole concept. I think I talked a little bit about it with you. But
Cool.
yeah, it's a whole philosophy that's tied to it all. And it's all related to this whole idea of cognitive sovereignty and owning your own thoughts, but then putting more evolutionary pressure on your ability to perceive things and finding value in that so that you can recognize when that's being manipulated from things other than you. Go ahead, fam.
I was going to ask you. I think you said it before because I've been other places with you. What martial arts did you practice?
So I started with Taekwondo when I was 7.
Gotcha.
And when I was 15, I ended up starting 2 different ones at the same time. The first one was ninjutsu, and I got very fortunate, and I managed to get in with the Bujinkan Association. They were all over the place in the DMV, and the Shadows of Ego
They don't
Society.
really operate like that anymore, do they?
Who?
The Bujikan?
They do, and they do. It's just it was you. There's another Soke who's taken over everything after Masaki Hatsumi. Hasumi is kind of like semi-retired right now. So there's a line of teachers that are already set to go. But at the time when I was 15, that was pretty much the only way you got in unless you knew somebody who knew somebody. It was the Bujinkan Association. So, you send in your little money, you get a certificate, you get your license and registration for it, and you just start training. And that's what introduced me to Japanese and my need to learn that, because a lot of the information and a lot of the folks that were really giving you your first dan and anything higher than that, you had to go to Kyoto and train with them. And they didn't have classes in English the way they do now. So you had to learn Japanese or hire a translator. And that's just not going to work. Right. Going to the dojo and you got this old dude who barely know who you are. And you're like, yeah, bro, you gonna get this training or what? So when I was practicing with that, there's this concept of using no technique as your technique. And so I took that to mean that to augment my taijutsu, what I should do is find another martial art that I can augment this with and build a foundation on that and apply ninjutsu's principles to it. So I thought of the best fighter I could think of, which was Bruce Lee. So at the same time, I took up Jeet Kune Do. And I was lucky because one of Dan Inasato's students was teaching at an academy across the street from a high school. So I got access to Jeet Kune Do. And so that's pretty much, that trifecta is pretty much what informed my martial discipline growing up.
Got you. It's all right.
You can't really learn ninjutsu like that nowadays anymore. That's why I was saying that the Bujikan schools, I mean, you don't find much on them online at all.
Maybe not now. Yeah. Again, back in the day, part of it depends on where you go.
Yeah, I think location is always the biggest thing.
New York, California, DC, parts of Atlanta, and Texas.
Atlanta, nah. Atlanta, It's
You got some more. I
No,
think you
in
got some more
Atlanta back
spots
in the
on the
day,
East
because
Coast.
I think Maurice Camp was there in Atlanta. So, he was definitely part of the Bujinkan Associate, if you know who he is. He
nah.
went mainstream. Yeah, Maurice Camp, yeah, he's a black shinobi dude. He trained under
Maurice
Stephen K.
what?
Hayes.
What
Maurice
is that?
Camp. Maurice
Camp.
Camp. Yeah, you can look him up if you've got time.
Hmm.
But he worked
Yeah.
under Stephen K. Hayes, but Stephen K. Hayes eventually broke off and did his whole thing with Toshindo, which is the same thing, but it's just his iteration of it. He had some political fallout going on with Hasumi, and he did his own thing. So part of what was going on, and I'm getting into the damn politics. That's one of the problems with a lot of the modern Koryu overall, not just ninjutsu, but pretty much any Koryu. The idea of Koryu is a traditional school. So you've got your Budo, which is sort of like, it's what happened after World War II when the martial arts community had to appease itself to Western powers and the Rockefellers and all of that, and come off as more of a philosophical cultural expression. It's how you get things like karate eventually. But you've got older schools that kept their character. Their problem right now is that there's not a lot of people to pass on those teachings to, because people just are not interested in that over there in Japan right now at all. And a lot of the people who are carrying a lot of the traditional stuff now, they're all from overseas. And unironically, they're interested in it because of anime. So they learn about this stuff. Like one of the things I do now is Yaido, which is the sword drawing. I'm trying to think who does that in anime. You got Kenshin does that. A lot of the idea behind most of the characters in Kimetsu no Yaiba or Demon Slayer, a lot of them do Yaido. They won't call it that, but all that means is the technique of drawing the sword and cutting at the same time, and then returning the sword to its sheath. There's so many different Koryu that are tied to that, depending on region and who the founders were and all of that. There's a lot to it. But I like it because it's a complete companion to what I've done with my previous training, and there's a direct correlation to Zen. It's why I got into the shakuhachi recently, which is the flute you'll hear a lot. That it's kind of off key, but it's meant to be a breathing exercise. So it was never meant to actually be played with other instruments. It was supposed to be played by itself. They call it suizen, which means flowing zen or water. Suizen, suizen. And it's amazing with helping you with your breath control, but it also doubles over as a tool to help you with your swordsmanship and your training with iaido. So there's a whole subculture tied to that, but most people in Japan, they're not interested in none of that. And these people are just going to the grave with all this knowledge and nobody pass it on to.
Yeah, because I think a lot of that, has to do with everything
That's
being
that old
around
shit.
well, not just old, but everything being around making it to Tokyo. As far as people wanting well-paying jobs, you have everybody leaving the smaller surrounding towns. Nobody's there except for older people.
Man, it's bad. Yeah, and it's cheap, man. Those houses are pretty incredible, man.
Hey, Nameless, Blaze had said something in the chat. I highlighted it a while ago.
Oh,
He
my
said,
fault.
I wanted to do something with koi fish in relation to Pokemon, the lesson of magic ARP. Do you know anything about magic ARP or what that is about?
Magikarp. So if you play Pokemon, the whole story of Magikarp is the lesson of the koi. That's actually why it can learn Waterfall, or Gyarados learns Waterfall. So there was a story, and if you want, I can read you one of the things I've been working on. I need to record this eventually, but I got it written down. I did a I wrote a sutra. I call it the Black Lotus Sutra, and it's related to the story of the koi. And it's kind of like, I guess it's just my articulation of the concept. Let me write this. Let me get, my phone's about to die. Let me find this real quick. It's in downloads.
I only know the 5150 version of the koi fish, yo. And that's not a good one.
Now, here you go. Here you go.
You know what I'm saying? When a nigga acted a little coy, like a koi fish.
Nah, that's COY. It's a completely different behavioral modality. That's how you get got.
I know, right?
Of course, when I go looking for it, I can't find it.
Well, you say you
That's
wrote
how everything goes.
you wrote a sutra?
Yeah, man. Yeah. There we go. Dark Lotus Sutra. The Tao of Dissonance. Okay. And I'll say this. It's a page. So bear with me. Okay. So it's called The Black Koi Sermon at the Dragon's Gate. Thus I have heard, from the depths where the waters run dark, a teaching arises. Bring forth the chains of presupposition, that I might cleave them in twain with the blade forged from audacity. Defeat. How can you attribute that which can only be brought upon by oneself? What people call success is oftentimes loss of the highest order. A mind can be taken by the spirit of success, but a step away from being claimed by death. In this dream within a dream, the only thing which we can say with certainty is the degree to which we are to be self-serving. Little else is as liberating as realizing the fact that nothing is owed you, so you are free to give what you see fit. All is love. From the unified existence of all things, the moment perspective is introduced, so too was distortion and fear. And fear was known. From here, the gulf of indifference, known also as the transition between the polarities, formed the great will from which the 10,000 things were made realized. The price required amongst the 10,000 things for change is pain. This pain, in the absence of knowledge, is suffering. This is why distortion wields so much power within the 10,000 things, and fear remains dominant there. Thus, the body must be used as a means to liberate the spirit through discipline of the internal state of the mind and personality. One must therefore endure through struggle and find meaning through conflict. The secret of conflict resides in trust. In its absence, it is distortion. In its presence, it is the definition of love. Too often, what is called love is the mundane realm of the 10,000 things, as it is not but distortion approved through consensus. What one receives is reciprocal to what one gives. So it is best that your hands be empty to receive everything. So too, in this posture, does one have everything to give in turn. This is why win and loss are stages of the same process, whereas defeat and success are conclusions of that process. Observe accordingly. Failure is the soil with which victory can be made realized, both of which can only be made realized by oneself. The only true victory, the only true conflict, the only true win or loss is understood through the you of yesterday versus the you of today. All else is a matter of distortion. And so, the way to transcend the 10,000 things, traverse the gulf of indifference, and make realize the love of all things without conditions is through the inner temple of courage within the heart gate. Cultivate strength in mind, body, and spirit with belief, and you will be able to find harmony within the dissonance.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's lit right there.
You wrote
Well,
that?
yeah, this is just some of the type of things that, you get into when you start really looking into a lot of Zen concepts. And I'm going to call it recontextualizing your own experiences so that you can understand yourself better and then through that understand others better. And things just get easier to navigate after that.
Things get easier to navigate. How?
But
Because you sort of begin to get a sense of the subconscious shift of things around you and the way things go. And so you're better prepared to respond honestly, and you're less likely, I guess I'm going to say, have regrets for what you say, do, and act, because you can act more firmly in the present moment. And when you're here more presently, what is there to regret then afterwards? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm. Yeah.
yeah, when you when you understand yourself, it makes navigating through life easier.
Yeah.
It sucks because that sounds so fortune cookie saying it, but it's so true.
Well, yeah, it sounds fortune cookie, and the thing is that typically most people don't know themselves. Typically, most people know who others through the lens of other people.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what Zen kind of teaches, right? The whole knowing yourself and all that, and connecting with your inner self and my
Honestly,
mind.
Zen is probably one of the greatest devices of self-trolling I've ever seen.
Mhm.
I, I'm so serious. Like most of the koans and stuff you read from there, it'd be like I'm half expecting to get Rick rolled. Like that's the kind of
Dang.
attitude. But like, believe it, when you really get into the actual Zen teachings, they're like, yeah, eat shit and die. and
Mm,
and it isn't that they're insulting. It's these are basic things that are inevitable that you do in everyday life. So stressing over them is meaningless. Just live your life and be present for it so that when it's time to die, you die well.
Mhm.
And then there's a lot of double, not double speak, but there's depths to a lot of these words, and English can get in the way of it sometimes, but you can kind of get the
Broader
intuitive
meaning.
meaning. Yeah, it echoes and overlaps with a lot of different senses. Like death comes up a lot, but if you understand it from a Western sense, you're thinking, oh, well, you're just a nihilist. But it's like, no, we're talking about the procession of change, and it's because we understand that things end. The fact they begin is something for you to take advantage of. It's
Mhm.
something that is an opportunity. And it's so easy to miss simple stuff like that because you can just see it by just looking out your window right now. The sun's down. It's coming back. That's a kind of death. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And when you can go back and look at what a lot of those teachings are saying from that perspective, it opens up a lot of practical wisdom so you can learn to kind of get out of your own way and not take yourself so seriously, but at the same time appreciate you for what you are so that you can have even more, how do I want to word this? It allows for you to relate to others that much easier. And
yeah.
it prevents you from living in other people's narratives about you, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
No, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, no,
Because
it
most
makes
of the
sense.
times, most people, myself included, you always live of from that lens of how you want to be perceived, or even if it's making sure that what you're saying is coming across clearly. And that comes with a lot of preconceived notions, or thinking that, okay, this person kind of thinks that I'm kind of like this, so I gotta say this way, or you know what I'm saying.
Mm,
So
yeah.
definitely, you know.
It's funny enough. That's why that's the very first line in the koan, man.
Mm.
The very first line. It was bring forth the chains of presupposition that I might cleave them in twain by the blade forged from audacity.
Mm.
It's to your point, Smooth.
Mm.
See, see.
But yeah, fam, man, that's the type of time I've been on lately, man. Just been sitting here being grateful, scratching my head at these roads too, man.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing out here, bro?
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
no,
man, I appreciate y'all for coming out and stuff. I'm about to
Oh, no problem.
this
no problem,
right here.
man. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed
Yeah,
the talk,
definitely, man. It was good, man. Went from the whole anime Disney thing to more of the Wuxia to the Zenti. I'm gonna definitely check the Wuxia thing out more.
Yeah, I ain't mean to derail, fam.
No, you good.
I just made that notice with the Wuxia and I thought I'd share, man. I've been enjoying this genre a lot.
That's good, man.
And
I'll fuck with it.
apparently, I've gotten into it. I've done a little dabbling here and there, so I enjoy it too. What I've gotten to partake in, I gotta partake in some more.
Yeah, you got a compass now,
Aizen,
man.
I know you definitely been fucking with the Chinese anime a lot.
Yeah, and you, it's funny you said that because I got to thinking. I was like, where it ended up being the Daily Life, the Immortal King. That story that ended up opened me up to, I'm like, dang, China really coming along with this stuff here. And then it
Wait,
just
where
kind
are
of
you watching that at? Is it on anything other
that
than
that particular
DVD?
that particular one, I got that one I ran across on Crunchyroll.
Oh, they got it on Crunchyroll.
That one, yeah. The others, one of them is only in audio form. Or reading form. Yeah, they don't have an anime for it, and that was the King of Gods one I was talking about.
Okay.
The other one, I think they made a game, maybe. Yeah, they made a game for Battle Through the Heavens, and I caught it through bits and pieces through audio form too. So I started reading up on it. But they also have an animation thing that they do on YouTube for it, for you in animation. But they've got others on there that I'm gonna check out. But I'm not gonna lie, it started off kind of good as far as on the animated side, and then they left out a lot and fucked some shit up. And I know what it is, I get it. And YouTube and the whole feminism shit,
right?
Just fucked up shit. As far as connections and stories on there, because sometimes with the Chinese, man, it ain't like the Japanese shit. Dudes be having harems on there, but they have a purpose. It's not but what I'm getting at is they'll have more than one wife, but they have a purpose. It's not, just like, they end up having all these women because I end up having two wives just because I need another chick. Shit happens and they end up serving a purpose and shit works out that way. But when it gets to this YouTube and shit on here, man, these women ain't finna let that shit fly
at all. Yeah. And it's funny because they got whole subgenres on Chinese concubines. It's a whole soap opera subgenre of watching, man. It's hilarious. So it's a thing out there.
Yeah.
Nameless, where do you be catching your animes? Do you have any links?
Like I told you, man, I'm a isekai zombie. So I've gone more so into the web novels and the audiobooks just because there's more information there. I'm less about the visuals. If it's a visual novel that comes out or a visual or an anime that comes out, it's because of something that I saw or read in an audiobook that got an anime adaptation. That's most of the anime I watch now. So if you want to see what's probably going to get released, start looking at the audiobooks because a lot of really good content is being made there first, and then they get adapted to animes. And it's not even manga anymore. The actual web novels are better than a lot of the mangas, just raw story-wise. But like you said, Aizen, I like the story. But most people are there to see the visuals, and the visuals have gotten a lot better in anime.
Yeah, they have. I can't deny that the visuals have gotten awesome. I like the visuals too, but golly, I mean, I gotta have some substance to it,
Yeah, man. Shout out to freaking Death Note, man. I feel like an idiot watching that anime. An entire idiot, bruh. Go ahead, man.
Hey, me and we're there, and you liking complexity. Have you checked out Vinland Saga?
No,
I would
I'm gonna
say
write it
Vinland
down.
Saga, and Classroom of the Elite. Check those two out.
Yeah, check out
Oh, I see clips from this before. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, Vinland Saga. So there's a lot of HEMA martial artists that love doing videos on that anime.
Okay.
So whatever's going, so HEMA is the European martial artists that fight with the big ass swords and the rapiers and whatnot. So like they recreate medieval fighting with those weapons. They talk a lot about this series, man. Apparently there's a swordsman on it and he's using actual European fencing technique and all of that. So they like doing.
And I'm gonna tell you, all of that they're talking about is heavily the first season.
Okay.
Yeah.
The second season, and I like it better, but most people wouldn't. Is heavily story and meaning driven. And to me, it was, and even though I liked the first season, to me, it took it to a whole nother level with that second season without having nearly as much action in there, but the meaning in the story being played out, it was so powerful and great.
Yeah, I have to rewatch that second season because I did find it a little boring because it wasn't as action-packed as the first one. I ain't gonna lie. Yo.
Smooth with the cosign.
You already know. But Nameless, you should definitely check maybe the isekai, the isekai genre of anime. You might find something that.
I already told you I'm a junkie,
he's already
man.
said he's in the isekai.
Bruh, I've probably seen more isekai than bruh.
But yeah, it's like Blaze said. The second season is more cerebral.
Fair enough.
And Classroom of the Elite is completely cerebral. You do have some little action, but it's highly a cerebral driven storyline.
Is it like Assassination School? Is that what the one with the one?
No,
with the squid?
you're thinking of Assassination Classroom. No, those are different.
The Assassination. No, it's not like that.
Two different ones. Okay. Classroom Elite is completely different.
Okay, wait. Is that the one? I think I saw it where somebody was going into a school and they were being evaluated by the events that were happening while they were en route to day one in class.
Maybe.
Okay, because I see previews for a lot of these things sometimes.
Yeah. They do a lot of.
I think they do that. They do
a lot of YouTube slop.
There's a lot of the Elite. There's a lot of evaluation going on in Classroom Elite, but I'm telling you.
Oh yeah. You'll enjoy it.
Vinland Saga and Classroom Elite are the best written ones that I've seen. And they're seinen. They're not shonen.
Yeah.
They're more in the seinen. They're in the seinen class, and they are very cerebral, especially the second season of Vinland Saga. So those two I praise on being the some of the best well written animes I've seen. There was one I had to. They only did one season, and I think it was probably it was more on the adult end, and they did not finish it. It ended up being I had to go finish it from the manga, and it was called World's End Harem, and it is pretty dark, and it was really good. I liked it. It was cerebral too.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm definitely down for some of the ones that give meaningful conflict, we'll say. I was spoiled by Berserk.
I got you.
Yeah. Shout out to the manga also, man. God damn.
Yeah. Definitely.
R.I.P. to the author.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. See,
it's a lot of people in that anime manga world that's dying, yo. Just recently, I saw the freaking the voice actor for Majin Buu in Dragon Ball.
Oh, okay.
Passed away. You know. Somebody
else. Was somebody else. I can't remember.
Man, they was pump faking on the creator of Bleach.
Huh?
They was pump faking on the creator of Bleach.
Oh, yeah. Well, during during that run back then, he almost did die.
I heard about that.
Yeah, but now they changed that shit up now to where it's different. They ain't finna be doing this slave writing and creating stuff. So
no,
which is good.
Yeah,
That culture needs.
They said Oda was almost about to give up the ghost for One Piece. That's why they had to change the schedules and all
That's
that.
why, that's why they doing these breaks and all.
People going blind drawing manga.
Folks ain't eating and all that. They just up in there working, slaving away. Man, they need to. Yeah.
Nah, man.
But yeah, I ain't gonna lie there, man. That after Bleach there for a while when that ended, man, I was kind of like on autopilot. I didn't know what to look at. I was like, God, when that one first, because I mean, it was, I don't know, for me that was my favorite as far as the shonen. It was a lot of thought put into it, and I think that's why I really liked it. It had a little bit more cerebralness to it, but it's especially for shonen, I can say. Anyways, but
yeah, I like that whole with Bleach, them introducing. I was always a fan of like the spiritual sort of undertones and concepts behind that. They low key started that with Inuyasha, but you had other anime that went out of their way with the whole idea of spiritual slaying and fighting and dealing with yokai. The yokai can have a whole separate conversation on in and of itself, but no, that's why I really like the concept behind what they were presenting with the Shinigami. And you can kind of tell with Bleach, that was one of the first anime, and I'll just say it just like I'm gonna say it. I started seeing more black folks that weren't caricatures starting with Bleach first. And it really caught my attention because they were really they were there in higher fidelity.
They were well thought out.
Right. They weren't these big lip,
typical troll,
crazy looking popo. You know what I'm saying? Like it was black folks in there, like folks with some melanin that means something to the story. They're not goofy. They could have obviously gone further with it, but that's something I noticed about Bleach.
Well, they round them out. They round out one more in the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. And of course, I'm talking about Yoroichi. But I think they went to the right spot. They did exactly the way they were supposed to with Tozen.
Yeah.
And of course, later on you had oh gosh, the chick with the muddy boots for the I can't think of her name, but I liked her character too. They gave her a good finish,
You had the awkward Espada dude too. He was the dude that actually did voodoo.
Oh, for the
he was an Espada.
Yeah, for the Espada. Yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So like we know what it is. Like folks is on cannon fodder time, but the fact that they were in the actual anime and they weren't looking crazy, you know what I'm saying? That's something that caught my attention.
Yeah, yep, that's right. But I was thinking about the girl from the Fullbring arc. Gosh, I don't know why I can't think of her name. But they gave her justice too. Yeah.
What's his name? Kibo?
Taite Kubo.
Kubo.
Yeah, yes. I think as far as thinking out character development, I don't know if I know anybody to me as far as any shonen writer that does it better. And I'm talking about for all of their important side characters.
Oh yeah, Rukia
I can't think of anybody that does it better. He even for the 1,000-Year Blood War, he finally rounded it off for Kenpachi.
I was gonna say shout out to Kenpachi, man.
It finished it for it finished it. Oh man, that whole thing with Kenpachi and Unohana, man, it was almost like a bloody love ballad. It was oh man,
it explained everything, man. Like why nobody was trying to mess with her.
Yeah.
Why? The moment she started looking at folks, people shut up.
Especially if she opened her eyes.
Oh man. Oh
yeah,
man.
yeah. She put that fear of God in Mugs, man.
And it also helps you appreciate what was it, Yamamoto Taicho.
See, I'm just gonna be honest, man. I can't. He's the problem. He's the villain.
This shit low-key did happen because of his whole entire order to run with the funk. But you gotta think about it, how strong he had to be to hold that down for so long.
I get it, but all of the bullshit happened and kept happening because of him.
He really did.
Now, who I really like ends up becoming, the captain commander after him, and Shunsui Kiraiko. I really like him.
He did it right. He did what he's supposed to do. He's cool. Really, he was cool the whole series.
He always has been, even from the original, and even he's still cool in this one too.
Yeah.
He's very complex and not what people think he was seeing.
Yeah, they kind of misled you with the Playboy act.
Well, yeah, and that battle with Aizen, Mug had a line that was so cold when he was talking to the visors. When he told him, man, look, it's pointless to argue over who started first when the battle breaks out. The only point is winning. Everybody's at fault. Yeah. It's like, oh man. Yeah. It was like, yeah.
I had him marked as an underdog, honestly. I didn't think he was as strong as he ended up being.
Yeah.
They made it a big deal about him being a twin sword Zanpakuto and all of that, but it was him and the other dude. The dude that was sick. I remember what he looks like. I'm forgetting his name.
I know he's got the white hair. I can't. Yeah. I don't know why I can't think of his doggone name.
It's slipping me too.
I know what it is.
We should know. He's a whole ass captain.
It's because he's got that U last name like Unohana, and I want to say that, but I know that's not it.
Yeah.
Oh, Jushiro Ukitaki.
Ukitaki Sensei. Yeah. That's what. Yeah. And yeah, man. Because his vice captain, that was the one that they always talk about.
Yeah, the Shiba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we running smooth.
Yeah, my bad, Smooth.
It's all good, man.
My bad.
I'm listening. It's always good to go into side tangents. That's what the
I couldn't help it, man. We got on Bleach, man. When I get on Bleach,
that's your show, man. Like, I enjoyed that series, man.
I've watched it, man. I've rewatched it, man, probably 10 times, man, at least. I'm gonna be honest.
Damn.
That's how I have a different perspective on everything, because I've rewatched it at different points of my life where I've got different understanding to see things differently. So,
dang.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Ichimaru again. R.I.P.
Hey, yeah. Oh,
R.I.P. man.
Yeah.
The more I look at what's going on, the more it's like, bruh, he was probably one of the only folks in there for the right reason. You know.
Hey, look. Even at the end of it, what did Aizen say? Thank you, Ging.
Yep. And he ended up being a key to his evolution, man.
Yes.
That's crazy. But fam,
2 times. He ended up being the key 2 times.
Because that first time
go to evolve, for Aizen to go further. I just
shout out again, man. And then it's funny because his whole motif is the serpent. Oh, we went through it again.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Did it again.
Yeah. I'm gonna shut this down. I'm gonna holler at y'all though.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it, man. It's been good, man.
Absolutely, fam. Y'all have a great rest of your night.
All right.
Man. Thanks for having me
y'all
up,
too.
Smooth.
All right.
Guys.
All right.
All right.
Peace.
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 Thanks for coming. Y'all go to bed. Peace.